What's poppin', y'all? You know Joe Budden's number one when he's getting under people's skin by just giving his opinion on an album, because that's what happened with Metro Boomin, and it sent him into a tweet storm. Now, this all started with Metro Boomin's recent project, mixtape, album. I don't even know what he wants to call it, called the Futuristic Summer. He said this one was going to be very different, and then people were saying, like, dog, you telling us this is going to be different, and you've got Quavo as a feature, Future as a feature, and what was it, Young Thug as well? I don't know, and Lil Baby. Yeah, that was another one. And we come to find out that actually the track list is quite diverse, and Joe Budden gave his own thoughts on this on his podcast, and that's what sent everything into motion. So I'm going to play you guys the first clip right now.
Metro Boomin finally put out his Futuristic Summer album. First listen, it's, how can I say it?
It's retro.
Yeah.
And I saw people talking about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this might be dope. And I put it on, and I gotta say I wasn't ready. Because he did a really good job of tapping into like 2005 Atlanta hip-hop vibes.
I gotta find the right time when I'm supposed to listen to this. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I feel when I was listening in the car, I was like, this might be better like at nighttime with some girls around.
That might work. 2005.
Yeah.
Yo, it's a shame that as music consumers, we have to do that now. I mean, we do have to do it.
You got to, because...
But we got to figure out where some music is meant to be played.
For sure.
Fam, you put the wrong music on in the wrong setting, and it could fuck around and make you hate it.
Metro, I'm taking you off of my instant purchase list. I saw you up there. I didn't know you was dropping. I bought it because you've been on a run, and I clicked it. I skipped your intro because I always skip an intro.
So you really know that somebody has a strong, you could say, history with people when they start not giving excuses, but they start giving grace like this. If this was a producer that they didn't have a history with, and knowing that their music was great over years upon years, they would just be like, man, I played a couple of songs of this and this was whack. They're not going to say, yo, I really need to figure out where's the right place to turn this on, because it might hit on, and it might hit with some chicks at night, but it might not hit right now. If this was another producer, like I said, they're not getting this play. But that just goes to show how much of a legend in the game Metro Boomin is, and how much good music he's dropped. But Joe Budden, and so some context here, Joe Budden is an album purchaser. He's been this since as long as I can remember. But even back in 2017, 2018, when he was doing Everyday Struggle, he would talk about how, I thought XXXTentacion was like one of these other guys, but then I bought his most recent album. I think it was 17 at the time. It wasn't, I don't know if it was question mark or 17. He probably bought both, but he's a guy, and Lil Uzi Vert, I think, and then he co-signed the 20 Minutes song. He was like, yo, this is actually some joints. So Joe Budden he pays for stuff. He pays for OF too. And that's not surprising, but he was like justifying when people were like, well, why would you pay for that? So he's a guy that supports creators, if you want to call it that, if you want to call OF creators as well. So for him to take him off the list, that's not great. He's like, yeah, that means he wasn't too fond of it. But he went on to give a more in-depth explanation. So I'm going to play you guys that next.
I got right to 2. This is what happened on 2. Don't worry, Parks. My review is pretty short, so you be ready to plug in.
Oh, no.
This is the first thing I heard.
I just wanted to give Isha...
I didn't know nothing about no 2000s shit he was doing. And listen, for me, this was on some 6 in the morning shit I'm listening to this.
Yeah, no, that ain't gonna do it.
That's when I skipped this. I went to the next track. This is what was going on in the next track. At this point, I figured that I wasn't listening in the right place.
That's what I thought.
That's what I said.
So I cut this off and I went to the next track. At this point, I'm on track 4 in the album, and I'm saying, the Metro has one of my favorite producer tags. Which I shouldn't be saying.
Yeah, I shouldn't be.
If I'm at track 4.
I had a similar thought.
The Metro producer tag is hard.
Yeah.
Look, now this would be cool if I was with the first 3. But I'm still waiting for my vibe. All right. I got right out of there and went to track 5.
This sounds much like my listening experience.
I'm giving you my experience.
No, I think I was kind of the same.
Yeah.
I went to track 5. I cut it off immediately, never to return to it.
Reasonable.
Now, I'm not saying that I won't return to
Made
it.
your coffee extra hot, some bullshit.
That was the end of my Metro Boomin experience. So if y'all have more to add, please feel free.
I got to 6.
One further.
Wait. It's 13 tracks on disc 1. So then I was like, all right, maybe that's a disc.
Oh, shit, it's more.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a long fucking album.
So I was like, all right, maybe that's a disc 1 type of thing, you know, 2 different vibes.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
All
right, cool. Let me go to track 1 on disc 2. Can you press it?
Oh, sure. There's a whole nother disc.
This might be like an ode to Atlanta. Maybe Atlanta loves it. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. I applaud the.
It's something different though.
He went for a thing, and I think that he executed the thing
Perfectly.
I maybe just don't want to hear that thing this morning. I may feel differently if I hear it in a different environment.
And another thing I didn't like about this, Metro's not a rapper, one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But it's a Metro Boomin album.
Right.
So we know it's flooded with features.
Correct.
I don't know who anybody is on this album.
Yeah, they didn't put the names on nothing.
It's cool when, you know, this is, like I know Travis does that a lot. But I know I'm getting Travis Scott on every album, then you get surprised by the feature.
Right.
Who? Like,
Yo,
that don't work
if
here.
you're a producer, put the names of the people
Yeah, like,
on
that
the
don't work
song.
here.
Yeah.
Say featuring like a decent human being is all we're saying. Come on now.
It is-
Metro, come on.
It is particularly difficult with a producer album.
You know it's not a good look when two people, one of the person, Joe was like, yo, I made it past the track 5, and I was like, yo, Metro Boomin's got a good beat tag. If that's all you've got to say, then that's it's looking spooky. And then his other homie says he didn't even make it past track 6, and this is supposed to be a double-sided album. Now I will say that it's updated for me. I think they just listened way too early. It's updated for me, all of the features, even on Apple Music. But a double-sided album, it's like 24 tracks. I think just the fact that he made it 2 discs is what made it seem like, okay, man, this is a lot. But we've been getting albums. Well, I do think albums have slowly been getting reeled back in terms of track list. But here, you just see all of these different names. Now, there are some names that I have no idea who they are. Like, for example, I'll just name the people that I do know. The people that I did know was Travis Porter. I listened to Travis Porter a lot. I do like the fact that he brought them back. Young Dro is all over this thing. Young Dro was gone who knows how long ago. Roscoe Dash, come on. Like, this is really an era of Atlanta. And when these guys are talking about, like, yeah, you know, you got to go back to 2005 to listen to this, I think it's given a lot of understanding to what this is supposed to be, because it's a throwback, and you can't really enjoy the throwback if you're younger and you didn't experience it. And that's where Metro Boomin starts to go on this tirade, really. And he says the following in a tweet storm I think it's partially to promote the album, but we do know Metro Boomin is sensitive just from his interactions with Drake. So somebody had tweeted, I'm sorry, but the JBP ain't ready for this new Metro at all. Nah, they don't know black boy, white boy swag like that. That includes Shop Boys, Young Dro, Waka Flocka, Travis Porter, J Money, Rocco, Rich Kids, Roscoe Dash, shaking my damn head. Well, this is the thing. A lot of us know those guys. A lot of those guys sucked. And a lot of those guys had 1 to 3 songs, and at least nationally on a nationwide scale. So if those guys are brought back and they're like, yo, y'all don't know nothing about this. Yeah, the record labels didn't know nothing about that either. They got their ringtones, they got the sales off of those first couple of songs, and they packed those guys up and said, yeah, you guys are not making it past the next 2 to 3 years. Now, Waka Flocka, you know, he's done well for himself, but musically, who's really checking for Waka Flocka like that? He did have a good feature on, was it Jack Boys, though? Jack Boys, and I do need to listen to a little bit more of this album by Metro to really give a definitive answer on, you know, how I'm liking Waka Flocka. But really, when you look at Waka Flocka, he's really the only name there, and Waka Flocka is not a major music rap success. Like, yeah, he had his success, but you're not going to say, oh, Waka Flocka, and name him in what? Tier 1, or Tier 2 rappers. Like, he's a Tier 3 rapper when it comes to popularity, longevity, how excited people were to listen to his albums. Like, well, after 2014, 15, people were not tripping off Waka Flocka. Now, they would listen to his old music, but they weren't interested in what he had to say after that. And then you've got a little bit of an exclusion going on where he says, if y'all wasn't going extendo swisher blunts, futuristic summer might not be your game, kid. And this was by TM88, which is another Atlanta producer. And Metro Boomin says, a futuristic summer. And then he says, a lot of y'all get no sitches, and it shows. A futuristic summer. And, this was a devious response because somebody says, graping women doesn't mean you get girls, dog. And this was a lawsuit. It was a civil lawsuit that was filed against Metro Boomin. I don't know if he settled that. But whenever somebody starts talking like this, it's just like, okay, dog, you don't really have a point. Because if the point is whether or not someone gets chicks, I just feel like, what does that have to do with anything? And Joe Budden is somebody that didn't enjoy this, and we've only seen Joe Budden with chicks. So where are we going here? But I think this is just an attempt to say, like, hey, look, if you're not messing with this, this is why. Now, I will say there are a lot of chicks that don't listen to this type of music, many of them. So that's another reason why like this just falls flat. And he says, if your homeboy never had to hold you up in the teen party while you was getting twerked on, then you might want to sit this one out. Now, were they really twerking like that in 2005? Listen, I wouldn't know. I wasn't even a teen in 2005. I wasn't even close to a teen. So perhaps, listen, I don't know how they were getting down in Atlanta. Maybe the twerking thing started first. Now, this is, and the phrasing of this tweet and the timing of this tweet is not the best, but we're not going to harp on Metro Boomin and try to do the, wait, hold on, what did you just say? Nah. And then he says, if you never went out and competed with your boys on who would get the most numbers, then you might want to sit this one out, a futuristic summer. And this is where, no, like, let's not, this is what's so funny to me, man. Because the next tweet, he's like, if you never had to write a number down, period, then you might want to sit this one out. Listen, we heard that Metro Boomin was just tricking. So is he writing down numbers or is he writing down tricks? Or not tricks. Is he writing down checks? I don't know which one it is. Y'all will have to let me know. He says, if you started listening to rap music in 2017, then you might want to sit this one out. This I like because a lot of people that listen to Metro Boomin know him for that sound, like 2016 plus, and they don't know what he was inspired by. So they might not like the sound of this whatsoever. And this, I kind of get it. But I don't think good promotion is telling somebody that they're not meant to listen to something. He said, if you never intentionally wore your clothes with the tag still on, then you might want to sit this one out. Yeah, I was never this person, so I might have to sit this one out. And there's a lot of sit this one outs that Metro Boomin's dropping. So if we see a lot of people sit this one out and then this album does 10K first week, well, they sat it out. Don't be upset with the results of that. A lot of people sat it out. And if it doesn't get nominated for an award, like he was upset that he didn't get nominated for, or didn't win or get nominated, I don't know which one it was specifically, for a Grammy, then yeah, you told them to sit this one out. I don't think the people on the Grammy board were, wearing clothes with the tag still on. That was also like some of the lamest stuff ever. Especially, y'all ever had those homies that had the New Era caps and they were tripping off the sticker on it? They were like, nah, you gotta keep the sticker. That's what makes it worth so much. I'm like, dog, even when I was a little kid, I just thought that was just ridiculous. I was like, wait, what does the sticker have to do with anything? I do think the sticker looked kind of cool. I was like, wait, you're tripping. The sticker had more value to them than the actual hat. And that's just where I had to scratch my head. And I always thought that was moronic. Now, I do like the little tags that they had on like the Jordans, the ones with the little chain on it. And sometimes they'll have it attached to the shoe and it had the Jordan brand. I thought that was kind of like an accessory, but the sticker on the cap, not so much. And the tags on the clothes is just like, please. Now, he did acknowledge some love that he was getting, where he said the following: been seeing and receiving so much love for a futuristic summer. This is the fresh air the game been missing. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. It feels like one big house party. Thank you. We just want to have fun. We need to see how this pans out for the rest of the summer. And then then a fan said, I like what Metro Boomin did because that's Atlanta music, and Kendrick did GNX. That's Cali music. Regional music making a comeback. It's time for music to get back regional. Social media got everybody trying to do the same thing. Let's get back to actual culture and regional identity. Well, if you're going to get to regional identity, then it's going to be a lot less consumption. So these numbers aren't going to do as hot. And Kendrick Lamar did it quite differently. Kendrick Lamar was coming off the back of the biggest beef ever commercially one of the most decisive victories ever with like the last knockout punch, not the battle. The battle really was back and forth. And at one point, really, Drake was leading. But, he just dropped that knockout. And if you drop a 12th round knockout, it is what it is. Or if you really, he moved like a Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman the first fight type of situation where it was last second. A lot of people thought like, okay, Drake got this. That were being fair at least. And then he just came out with a knockout with 2 seconds left. And hey, you just lost that fight. Now, the thing with regional music is that Atlanta music was regional, but it had a national and global appeal, especially with trap music. That type of sound that I think Metro Boomin is trying to create, I do think it has a lot of nostalgia attached to it. And I do need to listen to the album fully to really be able to judge whether it can age into right now. But like, for example, if you look at 2000s Cali music, Kendrick Lamar was really not doing that. He had more of like a modern sound. And we do have to give a lot of credit to YG for carrying regional music, quote unquote, if you want to call it that, on his back, because he's been committed to that sound for the better part of, 12 years? Maybe even more if you want to call it that. Even after he got commercial success, he didn't switch up on it. So YG is somebody that deserves more credit for that than Kendrick Lamar, although Kendrick Lamar brought it to a bigger platform. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen with Metro Boomin, because Metro Boomin is a producer, and a producer doesn't have that same, like, he can't push it as hard. And there are a lot of songs on this thing, man. There's a lot to commit to. I do like, just looking at the track list, you're like, man, this shows that Metro Boomin still has the love and the appreciation for music, because commercially he doesn't have to do this whatsoever. And I think it's not a sacrifice, but it's kind of just a passion project of love for his city, and he wants to bring a lot of people together. Now, hopefully, it gets hot when people come together, especially in Atlanta. We hope, and Atlanta's not the safest place in the world, but hopefully there are we don't get any violent altercations while one of these parties is happening. And I do think that this should have released somewhere near the end of June or early July, like in August, first week of August, this dropping. It's like, summer's not coming to a close, but summer's, it hasn't got much time left. It's kind of like when Megan Thee Stallion released her Hot Girl Summer track in like late August, the one that had Nicki Minaj as a feature on it. Man, that was so long ago. And then the Hot Girl Summer trend had already been going for at least 2 months up until that point. But you've got a lot of different features on here. I need to go listen to this again. I did like that era, but it was dated. Like, for example, there's a reason why Travis Porter didn't make it past. And Travis Porter were like the original, quote-unquote, Migos. There was a crew of guys, and they were really popping in the college circuit. So a lot of college-aged fans or universities, they were listening to their stuff. And if this is I do like the idea of regional music being popping, because we had Detroit. I would say Detroit as a region was the most successful out of the past 5 years, because there are so many different rappers coming out of there. Like Texas, it's still like Detroit is so rich in talent, and they didn't try to make it like, oh, this is like regional. You even had people from Atlanta like Yachty go out to Detroit to see what was happening there, did a whole project, Michigan Boat Boy or Michigan Boy Boat. Those last two words of that project always escape me. So I do think they're leading there. Atlanta music just became just general rap music. Like that became the default, which is a huge success. But for this type of Atlanta music, that was not as nationwide that Metro Boomin is doing here. So I'm interested to see how people receive this over the coming weeks. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.